В нашому українському кризовому медіа-центрі. На сьогодні досить насичена програма. Нагадаю, що з нею ви можете ознайомитися вже тут при вході в цю залу. Розпочинаємо ми зараз вже з розмовою на першу тему, як волонтери медичні.
I guess we will start with our first topic, how the volunteers of our Automaydan assisted our National Guard soldiers.
Our fighters in the zone of anti-terrorist operation. So I give the floor to Vyacheslav Zakharov, Andriy Guk, and other guys. Good morning, dear friends. I'm Oleg Khomenko. I represent Medical Automaydan United. The abbreviation is MAMO. From the very start of Maydan, we were helping with wounded, with evacuation of them, also with supply of medicines. And now, in connection with the situation in the east of Ukraine, we are actively helping our military in the anti-terrorist operation zone. We want to tell you about the priorities of our work. First, this is all-around support of any volunteer initiatives like Saving Lives in Ukraine, the fund to support Ukrainian Army, Initiative E+, Phoenix Wings Initiative, and others that are connected to a supply of blood-stopping medicines, means like emergency dressing, IPAC, and others. I also want to tell right away that our main goal in supporting such initiatives is to, as soon as possible, provide blood-stopping means to our militaries that raise by 80% the rate of their survivability in fighting. We know that more than 60 persons were saved due to hemostop preparation. We have specific examples and we have data on the use of this preparation. For instance, the fighter of Aeromobile Brigade 79, Yevhen Vorobyov, was taken on the 12th of June to hospital, and he was released on the 19th, which of course testifies to the high efficiency of the preparation, and any claims that it, for instance, causes burns are not true. We support any initiatives, for instance, whether this is clot or Celax, and we will work in this direction. Hemostop is a Russian preparation, but it is certified in Ukrainian packing, and there is a permit to use it for our law enforcers and military. Clot and Celofax still do not have such certification, but we hope that our officials will accelerate this procedure so that volunteers from America or England can import it. I would like to also point out the very active role of Maydan in San Francisco and Ukraine abroad in New York City, who help us very much. Our second question is the continuation of cooperation with the medical headquarters of National Resistance. We also supply them with blood-stopping means, foodstuff, water, and all other necessary things that are being transported to the anti-terrorist operation zone. We provide them with gas, and our people transport those medicines and preparations to the battle zone. For instance, you may have heard about Yulia Votcher, Then we help military medics on the front line, those who are engaged in logistics of medicines, of blood-stopping means, and our volunteers from the medical Medautomaydan United, who are now defending the independence of Ukraine in the east. In Aidar battalion, we will supply individual body armor for them and other means of protection. And then there's an absolutely new people's initiative, and I invite everyone to join, including legal entities, banks, reanimation vans for frontline, which are badly needed in the front line by military medics who risk their lives transporting wounded from the battlefield and provide first aid to them. So this is briefly about what we do. I am the representative of the Rehabilitation Center Maydan Hospital, together with the headquarters of medical headquarters of National Resistance. We created the center Maydan Hospital, and together we organized a hospital where we gave treatment to almost 800 people. 208 people were sent to sanatoria, and also we have sent people abroad to Poland, Czech Republic. But in March, we saw the necessity to evacuate children and women from the troubled areas where there are combat action. So we are doing this. First of all, we are taking out women and children from battle action fields. We have evacuated more than 1,000 people. We have a 24-hour hotline. We buy for them railway tickets, and we bring them to Kiev, Lviv, Chernivtsi. More than 350 people live in our camps. The biggest camp is Teterev and Korostyshev. Almost 170 people, kids and women, live there. So with the help of the medical headquarters, we were providing first aid kits to battalions Donbass and Ukraine. We bought something, we got something from the headquarters. We continue our cooperation, and we will develop this trend because the problem is huge. The state does not take part in this at all. It is only due to volunteers and to the goodwill of some heads of districts we managed to do quite a lot of things. At the moment, we have more applications for evacuation than we are able to do. Every day we are evacuating from 20 to 50 people, and we already need help. So we also ask everyone who can help to get involved. Because, this is not a simple task when the state does not take any part. To feed people, to give them medical help, and to provide necessities. The more so that people leave the anti-terrorist operation zone without anything at all. Sometimes they just come with a lady's handbag and a night pot for a kid. So if someone can help us, we will be more than pleased. Today, we are already cooperating with the Ministry of Defense, with the Ukrainian Railways, and we are drawing on the plans of joint work with the Ministry of Emergencies, and the president of our fund is now at the ministry talking about the ways of evacuating people. However, the state is not quick to react, so we would like to accelerate this. So, how do you coordinate your efforts with volunteers? Do they address you? Well, Today we have a 24-hour telephone hotline with the help of Kyivstar, and everyone who wants to leave the zone of combat action can appeal to us. And here I also want to thank the Minister of Infrastructure and the first deputy head of Ukrainian Railway. Thank you very much. Quite a lot of people were taken out from the battle zone due to the railway, in spite of all the difficulties that there are. We also have problems. People who, well, the situation, for instance, we have in Korostyshev a camp. This is a sanatorium which was empty and desolated. Together with volunteers from Maydan, we have put it to order, but today, in practice, there's no help from the state. It would be very good if, after we have put it to order, we were able to transfer it to the state, but they do not want to pass the resolutions and the laws that would provide for the rights of these people. What we are doing now is only because we have goodwill. Yes, the state is starting to work, but this is very, very slow. We have to make haste in this case. So volunteers may... The hotline is more for those people who want to get out of the battle zone. They fill in questionnaires, and we know every day about people who want to come out. It's 050-117-9007, a 24-hour hotline, 7 days a week. If anyone wants to help, also visit the Facebook page, which is called Medautomaydan, or any other initiative, for instance, Saving Lives in Ukraine, a Facebook page, and people will be, and you will know that you are helping to save our soldiers who defend our motherland in the battle zone. We also have a Facebook page. It's called Шпиталь Майдана or Шпиталь на Трехсвятительский. Please visit this page, ask your questions, please take part. My question is to the representative of the medical Maydan. What about the... please provide more details about ambulances, armored ambulances. You know, we should talk more about protocols and tactical medicine, about military medics, but now it is the problem of taking the wounded away from the battlefield. There's no specialized transportation at all. For instance, I and our men, we have to drive at 140, 170 kilometers per hour so that not to be hit by sniper fire. So it is desirable to have armored vehicles, armored ambulances. We, for instance, want to re-equip those vans that cashiers vans that banks have, or buy some armored ambulances from abroad. The group Ukraine Abroad is working on this, and they are ready to transport first vans from New York. We also ask banks to get involved. They can provide us with armored vans, and we will re-equip them. There are also military sanitary vans, but regrettably, they are being targeted in the anti-terrorist operation zone by grenade launchers or whatever. Another problem is that our volunteers, like Anya Mayborda, Tatiana Chirichkova, are driving very usual cars, and they can be targeted and hit as well. So it's very desirable to have some small armored cars for our volunteers. Maybe Andriy Petrovich will tell us. Hello, everybody. So after my colleagues have spoken, so from the help on Maydan, where we only have 2 medical help points in Zhovtnevy Palace and the Maydan Hospital at Trochsvetitelska, the medical help that was being provided by our volunteers has moved to the zone of active combat actions in Donetsk and Luhansk region. The ambulance that was given to us by our benefactors is working in the zone. They sleep only for 5 hours a day, and they are going in between road checkpoints, and their mission is such that, regrettably, in order to get medical help from the emergency medical help, there's a need to get some commands. Our volunteers do heed these commands, but because they are volunteers, they provide medical help to everyone who needs it, and when they need it. They have instructions, of course. They do not have the right to work in the front line where military medics work, but whatever is linked to evacuation and transporting wounded to the hospitals is done by volunteers. The cooperation is effected through a coordination headquarters headed by one of the top officials of the health ministry. They work 24 hours a day. What state structures can done is done by them, and then volunteers do. Just one ambulance, the one that was donated by a benefactor that took part starting from the tragic events in Maydan in January. It helped us when we were evacuating the House of Trade Unions to Mikhailivsky Cathedral. At the moment, we're talking about one loss. One volunteer has died, and almost 10 are wounded. And thank God, those are not heavy wounds. So you say that you need armored vans, although it is known that there's a This question is to the President's administration, because they are with the State Department and they are not at the front line. Is there an opportunity to get such cars? This is the question to our Medautomaydan public organization. I emphasize once more that this is a rather fresh initiative, just the day before yesterday. We understand the necessity of this. We understand that one ambulance cannot fill all the gaps in the anti-terrorist operation, so we need them. We are now looking for ambulances in Europe, and our friends from diaspora are looking for the same also in New York, and they have already promised to send us one ambulance, We hope that our customs will let it through the border, across the border, but we have just spoken to a representative of one of the banks, and we asked whether there are some not new vans for carrying cash that we would re-equip and make armored ambulances from them. And then we, of course, will ask volunteers to do this. The Ministry of Health has passed 6 first vans to the battalions of National Guards. This happened on the 25th, but those are civil vans according to the redistribution. Another very important social projects. At the moment, we are looking after 20 mothers who are going to give birth. This is a problem. By the way, thank you to the 7th maternity clinic. We have agreed that they will be able to give birth there, and of course the Ministry of Health. So in this sense, the project has moved forward, but at the moment we have a lot of problems with placement of those mothers. Besides, there's an order of the Cabinet of Ministers resolution, and apart from the Association of Mayors of Cities, not a single public organization is mentioned there, although for the just now it is public organizations that are putting people in residences, feeding them. So as far as perinatal project is concerned, we need the support from the Ministry of Social Policy and the Ministry of Health, and we need the support from the Kyiv State City Administration and Mayor Klitschko, because people are coming here. Today we have 20 pregnant women, but tomorrow we may have 100 of them. So I call upon the state bodies to help us in this. Thank you very much, and we will be glad to host you again in several weeks about it, so that you provide the information on what's happening in this sphere. Thank you.